So, Mr. Speaker, what should this mini-budget have contained? Well, this mini-budget, and we would have applauded if the finance minister had said that, should have had the finance minister standing up and announcing a universal single-payer pharmacare plan in Canada for all Canadians and making sure that all businesses, as a result, can benefit, because that helps the competitiveness of Canadian businesses. $6 billion that our businesses are now paying for pharmacare. Now, Mr. Speaker, you'll remember Tommy Douglas in this House fighting for Medicare. That Medicare just wasn't good for every Canadian. It was also good for Canadian businesses. The average advantage per employee per year is $3,000 for a Canadian business compared to an American business. For each employee that a Canadian business hires, because of our universal Medicare system, they have a $3,000 advantage. American companies have to pay into those plans. Canadian companies don't. Can you imagine if the finance minister had stood up and announced universal single-payer pharmacare? We all would have applauded, and so would the business community have applauded, Mr. Speaker. This mini-budget should have contained an announcement that the government is now going to take seriously the crisis that we are facing, the affordable housing crisis that we are facing in this country. If he had stood up and said, we're going to put in, instead of $5 billion into a variety of tax incentives that can go to, unbelievably, plush corporate jets and limousines, as if that's the priority. If he'd stood up and said, we're going to put in $3 billion now for affordable housing. We're going to build, like we did after the Second World War. Within 30 months, we built 300,000 housing units across this country because governments at that time understood the importance of having a roof over every single Canadian's head. That finance minister should have stood up, Mr. Speaker, and said, I announce an emergency housing plan right across this country, and we're brilliant, and we'll make sure every single Canadian has a roof over their head as soon as possible. That is what we're going to do. That's our priority. And if he had said that, Mr. Speaker, we all would have applauded. But he didn't.